Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to my sketchbook. Welcome to part 2 of Tom and Jerry as a revisiting of fun stuff from childhood. So, it's a little later in the day. My brain has settled a little bit on some fun stuff, I suppose. I think for fun, I'm going to try to draw a little bit of what that title card looks like, that freeze frame that happens at the beginning of especially the classic cartoons. And yeah, I don't know. I don't have references in front of me. I didn't pre-pencil anything, so whatever falls out of my head, I'm going to use this pen to just pin it down onto this page. So let's see what happens. We're going to do this kind of a little more in my style anyway. I'm going to start off with the nose. It's not going to be, well, super elegant, but I'm just playing around. I'm going to draw it a little unnecessarily towards the realistic end of things. It's going to disappear anyway as I add some shading and stuff to it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to immediately get the little glowy reflection light as if the nose is a little bit wet. Tom and Jerry, in my mind, are good buddies. But their jobs are to make each other's lives a little more difficult. Now, I say that because I really enjoy the classic cartoons. I did look at some of the modern stuff, and they're quite a bit different than some of the stuff from the 1940s when, is it William Hanna and Joseph Barbera? Anyway, when they were created for Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer back then. And they're pretty different, the cartoons nowadays. So I'm pretty sure that some of those cartoons were not really meant for kids anyway. And kids just started to like them. I could be wrong in saying that, but I kind of feel that way about even, some of the other Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like the Flintstones, for example. Like, I think a lot of people know that in a lot of ways they were kind of like the Honeymooners. So like Jackie Gleason and that sort of thing. Just sort of interesting. Cartoons were something that, much like comic strips, that were kind of in like newspapers and stuff, and not many kids were into just getting hold of a newspaper other than to read the funnies. So I'm not going to put in the pupils right away, just because I'm going to try to figure out where I want to put little Jerry. Something that is surprising that I kind of remember a little bit about is I kind of feel bad for the dog in the cartoons. His name is Spike, and then his little son, Tyke. He's not malevolent in any ways. He's mainly there to try to protect his son from, like, let's say it's time for a nap. Well, Jerry wants to get Tom into trouble and does whatever he can to make as much noise as possible. I'm going to draw the cat with his mouth open. I wasn't going to at first, but I thought, well, it could be fun. We'll just do it this way, because that's kind of what the title card looks like. So, but I'm doing this my own way anyway. I'm going to sneak in some teeth, which is not really necessary for a cartoon cat to have. What else am I going to do here? So that's the lip. We're going to leave a little bit of a chin here. And like I said in the last video, I'm not really certain that I drew Tom, when I was a kid. It just, I don't picture it. It's possible that I did. But then again, I don't know if I would have. Yeah, I don't think I would have. So there you go. This is the most that I probably sort of thought about Tom. As I said, I mean, like Mighty Mouse and some of the other mice, to me, they were more fun. Let's see. Now, this isn't going to look exactly like that title. I'm just trying to get that to kind of sharpen up a little bit. This isn't going to look exactly like that title freeze frame, nor am I trying to. Main reason, I suppose, would be because I'm the one drawing it, and when you do stuff from memory, well, it's not going to be totally accurate to the way somebody else did it. I kind of have an idea of what I want it to look like anyway. So let's see. I'm trying to remember if the hair kind of moves up or moves down a little bit. It's all right, I can fix that after. If it's on that side, short brow, I believe. Yeah, maybe. And then the other ear. I'll let that kind of curve that way a little bit too. So that's kind of that. Close up that mouth just a little bit there, a little mouth, which sounds a lot like I'm saying mouse. Oh, back here I'm going to put a little hint of the hangy ball thing at the back of the throat, which is going to disappear soon enough anyway. That's where I'm going to have the throat lined up, and then it's all going to be under shade here soon enough anyway. You know what, I can kind of let it drift away. Oop, I made that tooth kind of disappear. I'm not sure if I'm going to add any color to this. It may not be necessary. And as I add more ink, well, I'm taking away that opportunity anyway. But I still could, I suppose, if I want. So that's a rough idea of what I want Tom to look like. Maybe just a little straggly kind of bits there. Okay. Now, how do I want Jerry to look? Well, I think Jerry should be considerably smaller. So in more modern versions of the cartoon, Jerry ends up being quite big next to Tom. Whereas in the original cartoons, I mean, Jerry would pretty much fit in Tom's mouth, even though he didn't really go out of his way to try to eat Jerry too often. let's do kind of small anyway. We'll have a little tiny nose. I'm trying to be very delicate with the pen. Give him little cheeks because that adds to his cuteness factor. And also we'll do the same sort of mouth open kind of thing that you often see them do, as if they're laughing and having a great old time. At least that's what I hope that's what it represents. I'll fill that in just a little bit and then I can come back to it after. We'll expand this cheek out a little bit there, and then let's say right to about here we'll have the jaw line. So I'll put a crease here. We'll have the mouse look a little bit like a little bear. Open eyes or closed eyes? Well, we could have them kind of looking at each other, I suppose. So let's leave the eyes open. Being very light. Give him big eyes. For his size. And we'll have his ears start here. I think I saw something somewhere where his full name is Gerald Jinx. That seems funny to me. Great big ears. And then, ooh, for fun, put in the eyebrows like this. The side of this ear here. Now, because we can kind of see where their eyes are, I can finally put in the pupils. Now, I don't know if I want to have, well, it's kind of part of his design, so maybe I will. Tom is given sort of like an iris for some reason. So his eyes are yellow, as most cats are, but then he has an inner sort of iris of sorts that's green, which seems strange to me that he's set up that way, because cats don't really do that. Like, they don't have the whites of the eyes. Their eyes are all kind of the same color, but I'm going to put in a hint of that anyway, as if maybe that green kind of focuses down to when, you know, if the pupils need to get wide. So just a hint. And that way, if I go back in and I add a little bit of color, then it'll almost make sense. I'm doing a little bit of darkening of the outline. Maybe I'll add a hint of color just for fun. We're at a little bit more than 15 minutes. I don't want this to be a long drawn out sketchbook thing. I want this to be just for fun. A little bit more there. Something like that. Now, how will I add color to that? Although I think in the original title card, Tom is, you get the full body of Tom. Well, maybe I'll do that after. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm going to use this. Oh, yeah, the bunny pen. Got enough colors on here, I hope. Let us start with the yellow of the eyes. And see how that looks. Just a little bit. We'll not go super dark. Interesting. Let's go with this green next. And we'll see how much this ruins it. Am I right, bunny pen? Sure. Again, just a hint. Maybe I'll get back in there with some of the yellow to kind of change it just a little bit if I find that the very light green bothers me too much. Next, well, let's go with this pink. And I'm going to get the tongue here. Get around the outside and then through that groove through the center. Leave a little bit of a curl out over that tooth. Now I wonder, when any of you draw, especially from memory, do you consider changing a little bit of what the character looks like as you go? Or do you try to draw it as the character looks? Hopefully that's not a strange question. I don't always try to draw things exactly like somebody else would have drawn it. I don't know why I do it that way. Here's the next thing. Now the ears are a little bit darker, and I'm limited by what colors I have with this bunny pen. So what I'm going to do, actually stay with that pink. I'm going to put in pink first, but I'm going to trick the usage of this color by putting in a little bit more color. So right now I have a little hint of pink in there, a little hint of pink in here. I could go darker, but I'm going with this red next. And let's see what this red looks like in here. Just a little bit of this red. Ooh. Something caught in the end of that. I'm going to put a little bit of that. And the grand sadness here is that I'm also wearing these amber lenses for eye fatigue, which in some ways is not very helpful. Okay. We're going to go another level of ruining this doodle. I'm going to get this black ink, and I'm going to drift in some fur. Go to the cheeks here. Go back behind the ear to the head. A little bit over onto this cheek. Fill it in just a little bit more because it's kind of out of the way. Top of the head. And top of this ear. Let it be a little bit darker. It's kind of in the background. Now, I'm going to make my way down the forehead a little bit here. We'll have the hair move kind of at an angle towards the ear. Okay. Next, I'm going to go over and visit our little friend here. And I'm not going to draw the body for now, I don't think. Because, well, I'm pretty far along in this doodle. There. A little bit in the ear here. Now, I don't know. We'll see how dark this brown is. Make sure the end is okay. And we'll put in some hair, little fur. Come on out of there, you. I don't know what's going on. Let me go here first. Could I actually be out? Oh, there we go. Nearly let me down, bunny pen. But you're reliable after all. Do these little cheeks. So yeah, I kind of drew Jerry as if he's like a little tiny teddy bear. Now there's a name for the type of drawing that you do where you give animals characteristics of people. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's like anthropomorphic or something like that. You know, where you have them walking on their hind legs. And much like with Garfield, Tom and Jerry here, they eventually just become like people in how they move and react to each other. And as I said, in later versions, Jerry is probably about 2/3 the size of, I mean, like ratio wise, he's not as tall, but he's definitely much taller than a mouse would be naturally to a cat. So he's changed quite a bit over the years. They all have. So either Jerry grew and or I guess I should say Tom got smaller, but I feel like they changed the height dramatically of this little mouse over the years. So I'm just adding a little bit of this detail back in that got smoothed out. Giving him the single sort of curl into the ear, which is kind of unique to him. Don't worry, I will add the whiskers in towards the end. I was sort of saving those. Something like that. Hop back up here, darken the eyebrows a little bit. Do one last sort of dance about. Sharpen up the eyes just a little bit here too. Back to the mouth just for a moment. This part of the ear. All right. I'm almost done. Final thing. Little magnificent whiskers. for fun, let's go with third one here, just for fun. All right, well, I think that's kind of the run of what I want out of Tom and Jerry. I'm going to try. Put that in. Oh, I think they're sharp over the top. And the bottom of the M, I think, goes right down. And this is like a written something like that, maybe. And one version, I think, has a triangle underneath it. I could be wrong. I think the way Jerry is written, it doesn't have a regular top on it. And then I'll find out after how close I am to this. Yeah. Does that one tilt the other way? Or does it tilt? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they mimic each other. If I'm being honest. And then the Y is a kind of like, yeah. Little like that, maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna get out the bunny pen. We're almost done. So I'm just going to zoom around the outside of this. And not have to fill in the entire thing, because why bother? I mean, I could, and it's fun to bother, but Tom and I'm not sure what this triangle was supposed to be other than stylish, which is fine. Style is fine. And we'll take care of Jerry down here as well. You know, I could have just used a marker. That'd have been way easier to just fill it in. Anyway, doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but you know, it's not a big deal. It's kind of what I'm getting at. I think that's it, folks. I'm sorry if that went out of focus at some point. Hopefully that's not a horrible thing that happened, but that's kind of it. That's my take on the title card for Tom and Jerry. I could probably take care of some of the edges of these a little bit better, maybe trace around, something like that. But yeah, well, that's my take on those characters. So I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out for a minute or so. Come back again for more strange things. All right. Ciao for now.